Hello, this is Linda, just letting you know what I learned so far. I know about the public sphere where the people come together and they are from like the same environment with the same interests and they discuss things. They have equal political interests and follow the same political parties and so forth, and they discuss things in their community together. I learned about Arab Spring and the revolution in Tunisia and how the media played a part where the people that were in the revolution communicated by tweeting and Facebook, and that the government tried to stop them telling about the revolution and what they were doing. And then the people in Tunisia developed hashtags to prevent the government from stopping their messages, and that basically that was how the media communicated what was going on in Tunisia. And then medium is the message. Well, the media puts out what they want people to know or believe is happening. It may be accurate, sometimes it's not accurate, and that's how they communicate. And basically that's how a lot of the shootings have occurred, because when these people go off and they get crazy and they go shoot people up, other people that are on the edge or narcissistic or whatever see that on the TV, and then they go and copycat. So that's how that occurs. And that's the same with the video games as well. You know, these kids play video games and whatever, and if they have any inclination to psychosis or mental problems, you know, they can copycat what they play on the video games. And then the cultivation hypothesis by Gerbner and Gross was where they said that people that watch more television than others are more susceptible to being violent in copycat crimes. And that they believe that the world is a much more dangerous place than it actually is. They go into this kind of like delusion. So that's the Gerbner and Gross thing. And then it was determined too, relating to the hypothesis, that those that are routinely subjected to violence and murdering and killing on video games and the TV have a less reactive shock factor when they are when they view other violence or watch violent movies, that their brain waves or whatever indicate less of a shock factor because they're used to seeing that and whatnot. And then the Melissa Howard Perry during Fashion Week, what they were talking about was that the media expects all these girls to be super skinny. And I did learn that if you're a size 8 in the model world, you're considered to be a thick model and considered fat, which is crazy. And then also the girls were complaining about a lack of diversity in the Melissa Howard Perry Fashion Week. They were complaining that they're all white supermodels of really skinny stature and whatnot, and really tall, and that there's no diversity. And then they would complain, and the people would get, you know, a couple of black or Chinese girls or, you know, Mexican girls or whatever, and then it would dwindle off again and it would be full of just tall, white, bone, skinny girls. And then Marx and Engels, the proletariat's they believed in the proletariats overthrowing the bourgeoisie, and that the proletariats were workers, and in so being workers, that gave them the opportunity and the potential to rise up, become bourgeoisie, and then other workers. It would be an ongoing circle. The Syrian war, that's where ISIS has become the most the richest terrorist group ever known, because what they're doing is they're tearing down cities, robbing banks and everything. So they've got all this wealth. They're very vicious and very cruel, beheading and shooting and killing Christians and doing awful things to women and children. And basically that's a example of the proletariats rising up and taking the place of the bourgeoisie, because what they're doing is when they take over these towns, they give their people an interest in rebuilding these towns. So they're actually giving them positive gratification for the fact that they're killing these people and robbing these towns and doing all this stuff. But at the same time, what they don't realize is they're setting themselves up, because at some point in time, another group is going to rise up against them. And then, like I said, it'll be an ongoing circle once again. So then I learned about, oh yeah, Marshawn Lynch. He's the guy that refutes authority by grabbing his crotch, which is a really super example to the kids that idolize him, NOT. And he's what else? And oh, I know what it was. He has been eliciting, by his actions and his behavior, he's been eliciting what they call race shame. And where that started was in 19th century America, I guess. These black women went around telling black people, poor black people, how to act and bathe and behave and whatever else, because they wanted them to be more accepted by mainstream America. And so that's where race shame originated from. And the respectability politics came from that also. And he's been grabbing his crotch, which is a bad message to kids, especially that's not teaching them to honor authority and rules and regulations. And he's acting like what ignorant people believe is a really stereotypical black African male, you know, this big boisterous football player who's really aggressive and angry and rebukes authority or whatever else, and promotes opposition. And the bad thing is, this bloke works with at-risk youths in Oakland, California. The other one that's been eliciting race shame, so to speak, is Richard Sherman. And he's a football player too. And apparently at the end of the game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Hawks, I think it was, that the female reporter asked him to tell her about the game, and he became really angry at this other player and was really boasting how wonderful he was, and denigrating the other football player. Was really angry that Fox told her to back off and, you know, leave him alone, and she was afraid apparently. So again, he was eliciting race shame because he was acting like ignorant people believe the typical African American male should act. That's how they think of them, acting aggressive and angry and threatening and whatnot. And so that's that was also responding to the respectability politics too. The Global Village by Marshall McLuhan. Obviously, that's where instead of reading books now, we're all into social media and internet, and that's where the Global Village comes in, because the message goes out by the bourgeoisie, or those with money and power, the capitalists or whatever, and the rest of us follow or believe what we want to believe. And it's like the Global Village, which also pertains to initially the public sphere as well, because we're all, you know, sharing the same opinions, following the same message, believing the same message, and whatever else. So that's how that ties in. And then what else? I think that's everything. And then the media operates as an agent of social construction by putting the stories out there, and we all believe them. And sorority sisters was acting like, you know, the ignorant mainstream media thinks of black African women, which is horrible. And that's why it was boycotted. So there you go. That's it. Have a great day.